Okay, back again. Here's another fun text animation tutorial. This time we're going to create this sort of a, I don't know, maybe it's a movie trailer as the text here would indicate. Maybe it's a title, a sequence for something, but this is just a very basic, simple text animation that we're going to create using just the effects and things found in Adobe After Effects. No additional plugins are required. Here we go. We're going to get started with new composition. So create a new composition, any size you like. We'll start by creating a background. I always like to create a solid for the background. This, any color you like. I'm going to go with black here, and we'll fit this into my window. To make this a little bit cooler than just your standard solid black, we're going to use a gradient ramp here. Double click to drag that onto the solid layer, and I'll use maybe black and gray. I'll make this a radial ramp, and then I'm going to adjust it so that, let's see, this is in the center here. Let's swap these colors so that we have sort of a brighter center. And you got two handles here to drag with, and the more you drag, the more it creates that sort of effect. I'll adjust the color just slightly here so that we have just a little bit of a brighter center there. Now I'm going to add a text layer, so go up and grab your text tool, click into the composition, and we'll call it whatever we want. Featured film, that's what we'll call it. And I have a yellow text. You can change the color. You can make it, maybe we'll do maybe blue for this one. That's fun. We'll probably change that later because I don't love it. Here's one thing I'll do with the text right off the bat is I'll adjust the anchor point because I want this directly in the center. And if I hit Y, that's my anchor point or pan behind tool, and I'll move this in the center. To get it exact, hold down Control. This will snap directly to anywhere on the edge or directly in the center. So now I have the anchor point in the center, and if I have my paragraph center aligned and I hit my align horizontally and align vertically, it is now directly in the center. I can check by turning on title safe, and you can see that it is directly in the center. You don't have to have it in the center. You can put it anywhere you like, but I like to start in the center so I know what I'm working with. Let's add some motion to this. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a 3D text layer. And when I do that, I'm also going to add a camera. Again, just the defaults here in this camera. Don't need to adjust it for anything for now. And what I'll do is I'll hit P to open up position and hit that little stopwatch so I turn on keyframing. It's going to drop a keyframe right into the beginning of my timeline here. I'm going to take that keyframe, I'm going to drag it to about maybe 5 seconds. And while I'm at it, I'm going to adjust the work area here. Drag the work bar, right click, and trim comp to work area. And I'm going to have, so the position now, since this is a 3D layer, this is my horizontal, this is my vertical undo, and this is my Z axis. So I'm going to actually have it come way forward and adjust it here. See, I can also grab these arrows here and drag it, but I like to, whoops, actually that'll probably work. So it's negative 2,692. Let's take a look and see what that looks like. So it kind of slowly comes down, almost like another Star Wars intro. Okay, so I'm going to move this keyframe so it happens in about 2 seconds. Very quick. All right, you can adjust the time to be as quick or as slow as you want. If it happens like that, it's pretty quick. Boom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it land right here, actually maybe a little bigger. I'm going to have it land right here, and then it's going to keep on going backwards, further away. If I drag this one out to about 7 seconds, look what happens. It just kind of stops and slows down there. I like that. I'm also, at this time, I'm going to turn on motion blurring for the project. I'm going to turn on motion blurring for the layer I'm working on. And we watch it again, and so it's tough to see right now, but there is a little bit of, whoops, that's because I didn't turn it on. And we get a little bit of blur when it moves real quick like that. And I do like that. So this is pretty basic. we've got this here. Let's add some more fun stuff to it. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it, it's going to end right here, maybe to about 7 seconds. So I'm going to hit T and open up opacity, turn on keyframing for that, and then we'll have it sort of fade out. Maybe I'll drag this back a little bit so it's going to land and fade out. Maybe it happens a little sooner and a little faster. Let's see this. It's going to land and fade out. And even better, I'm going to add a blur. So go up here, GAU for Gaussian Blur. Double click, add that to the text layer. And what I'll do is I will close and reopen. And now I have the effects selected in here. I could do the same thing up here. The beautiful thing about After Effects is there's various ways to achieve the same result. Just works, just depends on your preference. So I'm going to open up under Effects. I'm going to open up the blur properties, and I'm going to keyframe the blurriness. And starting at about right here, I'm going to have it start to get more blurrier. And then it's going to look like that. So as it fades, it's going to blur. Just drag that out a little bit, hit play, and it's going to kind of disappear, almost like it turns into fog or mist or something. All right, I like that. Close that text. So if we watch the whole thing again, it lands. And I'm going to hit U, and that's going to open up all my keyframed properties. I want this to move now, actually maybe a little bit faster. So it's going to slam in faster than that even. Let's move this up a little. And boom, it lands. Okay, let's make it even more fun. Let's add a glow. I mean, you can add effects on top of effects on top of effects until you're all out of processor power. But let's have this, the radius. This is the glow effect here. And the radius just makes it radiate out farther. That's fun. We click off of that now. We're looking pretty cool. Look at that. I like how that looks. And in addition to that, I'm also going to add a drop shadow. Let's double click that so that let's really double click it. Come on, get on there, buddy. Yeah, you have to actually select the layer. So select your layer, double click drop shadow, and that'll add the drop shadow there. Give it a little distance and soften it just a bit. Maybe turn up the opacity or the opaqueness. Now look at this. Now we've got something kind of cool here. In fact, to make it even cooler, I might make it twist a little bit as it falls in, right? You can do whatever you like, but I'm going to hit, I'm actually going to close all these and reopen it again. I'm going to close the effects, and in the transform properties, I want to have it rotate a little bit. So under orientation, we have our X, Y, and Z axes here, and none of these is, I mean, you could have it sort of tilt or do anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have it turn on this stopwatch here. I'm going to have this sort of rotate a little bit when it lands. So actually I dragged that to the wrong space. I'm going to drag this forward here so it lands nice and even, but we're going to have it tilt that way. We drag this keyframe back, and now it sort of falls into place there. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to have it maybe land a little sooner. Nope, I don't love this. I don't love how it turns. In fact, I'm going to select both of these, the position and the orientation. I'm going to hit F9, and that will allow me to have it ease, turns easing on, and it kind of lands and pauses there. I think that's cool. You can play with it until you get something you really like, but that's not bad. You could also have it, you know, tilt any way you want after it lands. You could maybe adjust this so it turns that way, whatever you like. Keyframe it and make it your own. So we're going to leave it like this for now. We'll close down this layer. We've got these three simple layers here. Let's add in a solid layer, new solid, just to make it more film looking. We're going to put this, well, we'll leave it right here. Let's rename this so we don't get lost. We're going to call this Vignette. Vignette. How do you spell that? Vignette. That's close enough. Okay, now I'm going to take this ellipse tool. It's my shape layer or mask tool. Right now with the layer selected, it's a mask tool. Hit ellipse. Zoom out using the scroll wheel, and I'm going to click and drag So I'm actually creating a mask on that black layer right here. It's in the shape of this ellipse, but I don't want it to do this. I want to invert it. So I could either hit invert, or I could make this, instead of an add, I could make it a subtract mask. So it subtracts the layer I selected, right? Now I'm going to open up the mask and I'm going to feather it quite a bit. So now we have sort of a little vignette here, right? And it'll look real good. Let's fit this back in here when the layer kind of, when that text layer comes in, because it gives it a little bit of vignette, a little bit of a matte, so it's kind of filmish. All right, that'll look better in a minute here because we're going to add something else. Let's add another layer, another solid. This one we're going to call particles. Let's make some particles just to enhance. You could put smoke, you could put particles, whatever you want in there. But I'm going to put some particles, and I want them under the vignette. So I'm going to drag it down right there. And again, we're just using simple After Effects effects, no additional plugins. And I'm going to add in PART, PART, and you could do any one of these three particle generators. I do Particle World because it's like a 3D. Double click that, and the default setting is terrible, and it's like a sparkler. This is great for 4th of July movies that you're making. And I'm going to totally change this. So first thing is I'm going to change the particle type. Go down to particle type. And instead of a line or stars, that's fun. We could just do that and be done here because that's pretty. Or we could go down to a faded sphere. That's what I'm going to do. So I have these spheres and they're just exploding out from the center. But what I want to do is take these particles, and so the birth size is they start at one size and they end at one size. I'm going to have them start pretty small. I'm going to say 0.1. And they're going to end even smaller, maybe 0.05, yeah? So they're pretty tiny now. I might make them even smaller than that, but we'll see. I'm also going to make this, instead of just right here in the center, I want these to come from every direction at once. So we'll go to Producer, and this is the radius. Now watch, as I drag this out, this stretches it out horizontally, and let's stretch it out in Z space as well, so that they're everywhere, right? Look at this. And now we've got a lot more particles. They're kind of everywhere. They're moving way too fast, like popcorn. I'm also going to have them come in Z space, so they're almost really close to the camera, right? Look at this guy up here. He's a big fella. All right. So not quite done yet. We've got some particles, but I don't want them moving that fast. So I'll go to the physics properties here. The velocity is what makes them move so fast. So I'm going to go to 0.1. See how fast that is. Still, now they're moving, but because there's gravity on. Let's turn off gravity by hitting 0. So now, look, they sort of just sparkle. It's like space. It's like stars, right? Now what happens is they start here, and they have to get generated. So I'm going to take this whole layer, I'm going to drag it backwards a little bit so that they're sort of generated already. Now they're kind of twinkly. I don't like that. So I'm going to make the longevity, means the lifetime of the particles. I'm going to drag that up to the max I can drag it to is 4. That's not bad. I think I'll go with that. Now there's too many particles. I mean, maybe you want that. It's up to you. This is your deal. Whatever you want to do. I'm just trying to give you basic tips, some ideas for things to work with, right? And we've got this sort of space. Maybe this is a space adventure. Space adventure. And it's just perfect for that, right? So that would be perfect. You could also change the color of the particles. So click your particle layer, go down to particle, and you can just drag and change this. Maybe it's white, and maybe this one is pinkish, right? So we have space adventure. That looks kind of like a space adventure, right? So this is cool. Play with this, see what you can come up with. If you want less particles, you can go to, let's go to Producer. Actually, let's go to birth rate. We can turn that down to 1. Now there's not as many being born. Yeah, That's kind of cool. All right, I like that. Enjoy. Have fun creating your own space adventure title sequence, and let me know if this works for you, if you use this, and if you make any money off of it. Man, let me know how to do that.